So, before we went on to break, I said, we need a strategy, and here is. I know this is going to sound, I don't know, defeatist maybe, but it's not. I want you to first of all, shed your fear. Fear does not come from any place good. There is a gift of fear, if you will. God gives each of us that warning signal, so, we don't just climb up on the edge of the Grand Canyon and then just say, hey, let's look down. He gives us that warning, so we know it's dangerous.
Plus, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
I think you got it. I think it's the first time since like 1985 he's actually gotten that right. Okay.
Thank you.
So fear. There is a healthy dose of fear, but then there's another kind of fear. And I will tell you that I've been out in the backyard playing football with my son.
That had to be brutal and ugly.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for helping me through my fear. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I am working to conquer my fear of, let's just get down on the ground and just play and let's throw the football. And my son, we were joking about which one of us was worse the other day. And I'm like, don't, you're not putting that on me, brother. And this is a huge thing, as Pat will be able to tell you, because Pat has been with me since my older children, who Hannah is having my first grandchild today. But boy, that's a selfish way of looking at it, isn't it? She's having her first child today, my grandchild. Let's make it all about me. But I am walking through the fear, because fear, there's something else that fear does, and this doesn't come from a good place. Fear stops you from being who you are supposed to be. Had I been afraid and allowed my fear to stop me, we would not have built this company. We certainly would not have ever gone and started the 912 project. Remember how much fear was around that? How horrible that was supposed to turn out? Do you remember when we started the March to Washington? How much fear was around that first march of 9/12? Nobody will show up. Nobody will show up. And all of those people showed up. And then when we went back a year later, or not even a year later, 9 months later, at the Lincoln Memorial, and everyone said that it would be a disaster. And then when we went to Israel, and the same thing. And when we started our own network, and we started our own website, fear, if you allow it, fear will stop you from doing all of the things that you're supposed to do. Recognize that. And when you let go of your fear, that's when things usually begin to happen. And that's why the Republicans are self-defeating. They're so afraid of losing that they can never win. They will never win because they're afraid of losing. If you're afraid of losing, you're playing defense the whole time. It's time to play offense. It's time to have a bold strategy. And again, their fear stops them. Well, you can't accomplish that. You can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? How is it that our side, the guys who are supposed to be in our corner, that understand the free market system, that understand the Constitution, that understand how unique America is, the people who actually stand up and say, America is an exceptional place, this is an exceptional nation, they don't actually believe that. They are lying to you. Because at the same time, they'll stand up for American exceptionalism. They will say, we can't do that. Haven't you heard over and over and over again all of the people who say we can't do that? Let's go to the moon, man. Let's go to the moon. Let's be Americans again. I was talking to a friend of mine who was standing in line at the TSA. standing in line at the airport, and a woman came up, and she said, do I put my toiletries in this bin, and do I put my iPad? What do I do with my iPad? And he helped her. And she said, she was so nervous, she was shaking, and she said, I travel so seldom, I'm so embarrassed that I don't know how to do this. He said he wanted to hug her and then look her in the eye and say, screw this. Screw this. Look at what 50 people have done to us. In the entire history of the world, 50 people who have hijacked planes and taken them to Cuba and flew planes into the 50, maximum 50. They have changed the entire world, and they're happy about it. And we're sitting here, and you're nervous, and you're saying, I don't know what to do. We're sheep. We're sheep. Screw this. Will you do me a favor? Would you read a book? It's been out for a while. It's called The Art of Being Exceptional by Rao, I think. R-A-O. Can't pronounce his first name. Can't even remember how to spell it. Read just the first 2 chapters of that book. That will change your life. That's where we need to be. Do you find it, Stu?
No. The Art of Being Exceptional?
No, The Art of... let me get it here. Sorry, I didn't plan this monologue. It's just spilling out of my head.
Art of Being Excellent?
No. Let me just get it. It's on my Kindle. So the IRS and the NSA can read it, too. But they get to read it for free. The Art of Being Unmistakable. That's it. The Art of Being Unmistakable. It's revolutionary thought. And here's what I want to leave you with. Forget about everybody else. We were all sent here for a reason, and I don't know what your reason is. I've said this a million times, and I mean it. I barely know what my reason is. I'm struggling every day to figure out, why the hell was I born? What is it I'm supposed to do? I'm so frustrated most of the time because I can see it. I just don't know how to do it. It's the same thing with parenting. All of these roadblocks in my life. I can see what I want to be as a dad, but I just can't seem to get there. And I'm telling you, it's because I put those roadblocks there. Because I can't really see it. Because I'm afraid. I don't know what I'm afraid of. Am I afraid of just making silly faces and looking stupid and being uncomfortable? I don't know. It's so strange. I can be with George Lang, and he can be taking photographs or whatever. I can be on television. I can let it all hang out. But when I'm with my kids, for some reason, I can't let it all hang out. For some reason, when I'm with my kids, I can't do that. And I don't know why. And I'm not going to get into a bunch of psychobabble bullcrap about, well, your childhood, go fly a kite, who cares? But the same thing has got to be true in a few things in your life. I challenge you to be who you were born to be. I challenge you to embrace the fear. And you know what? Just at the point that you're about to give up, that's when everything changes. Now, why is that? People will tell you all the time, yeah, and I was just about to give up, and then something happened. Stu, how long did I look for an agent? 2 years? Trying to get a talk radio job?
Yeah, it was a long time.
2 years, 3 years? I'm just about to give up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The week that I gave up, George Hiltzik, biggest agent in all of radio, calls me. Stu, remember the conference, remember the studio where you and I had that unfortunate conversation where I was not so happy down in Tampa? And you had said to me...
A lot of those. But.
I know, but try to narrow it down.
Okay.
You said to me, I said, the first day we were ever on the air, we're going to replace Dr. Laura. And And you wisely said, why don't we finish the first show, you crazy man? And then we were down in Tampa, and this was years later, 5 years later. And I said, I feel it. I feel it. And you, in a very righteous moment, I don't mean to make you sound like you were the bad guy in this, because you weren't, because you were arguing about something with your wife, and you were right. And I was wrong in being selfish. But you said, you know what? You've been saying that for a long time. Where's the evidence of any of that? When is that going to happen? And I said, I'm telling you, it's here. Just at the point that Stu was about to give up. And rightly so, because there was no, I don't mean it to sound that way.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, you were right for the reason. I don't want to get into all the reasons.
Sure.
But you were right for all the reasons. But just at the point that he was about to give up, it happened. Don't give up. In fact, I urge you to risk. I urge you to do the crazy thing. I urge you to do, boy, in this world, better preface that. I mean, they can call us monsters, killers, terrorists, and everything else, but I better not say that out of context. I urge you to do the non-violent crazy thing. I urge you, just when it seems like we should be paying attention to something else, you pay attention to what the Spirit tells you to pay attention to. You walk a different way. Especially now when everybody is, Google is analyzing everybody and and everything is up in the air. The way to win is to be unique and to be completely different. The way to survive is not fall into the patterns. That's what we were born to do. That's the good news. You weren't born to fit into a mold. You were born unique. So be unique. And not only survive, but thrive. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to start thinking about the things that you're afraid of. What is it you're afraid of? What is it that you have inside of you that you want to do, but you can't seem to get your arms around it? I've got a whole list. Just do that. And we'll come back. Because there's a new journey coming. And this one's the big one. There's a new journey coming, and there's a new mountain to climb. I hope to God it's not a literal mountain, but I don't know. But there's a new journey coming. Prepare yourself. Because this one, I think, is the one that you were born to make.